So while all the fun and excitement of the contest was going on, I was dealing with something unpleasant in my Arowana hobby. What's up guys, Abhishek here from AV Studio, and in today's video we are gonna talk about, while the contest was going on, what I was dealing with in terms of the illness or the sickness that my crossbelly had. And if you would remember, I had put up a post a week or so ago where I was thanking a few people in one of the Facebook groups for helping me out in curing my Arowana. And that is exactly what I'm going to talk about today, that what happened to my crossbelly and how did we go about curing her. But before we get on to that, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on the exciting new videos that are going to come up in this channel in future. I would like to talk to you about the contest or the giveaway that's running on my channel, which is in association with Bright Aquatic, and that which is owned by Shoraj Karmakar. And Bright Aquatic, as you know, is the exclusive distributor of WA brand fish feed product for West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Assam and Northeast. And the giveaway is very simple, where you will have to comment on this video and the next one coming up in the next Sunday, that why do you like watching my channel, and why do you like using WA fish food, or why would you recommend WA fish food to all other fellow hobbyists. And 2 lucky winners will get a box each of WA fish food from Bright Aquatic. So guys, what are you waiting for? You just got to write 2 comments. There's no need to think about it. There's no need to think about whether you like me or my channel. If you don't like me, if you don't like my channel, go hit the dislike button. But at least do your fish a favor, join the contest, take away the prize. Let's get started. So about a few days ago, or rather a few weeks ago, suddenly what I noticed is that my Arowana wasn't doing too well. And so obviously when something like this happens, you tend to get a little bit worried. And if you can see, this is what had happened to her. The tail was kind of torn and the edges were a bit ragged, and of course, you know, she didn't lose appetite or anything, and she was quite healthy in terms of her movement and all of that. But overall, I think there was definitely a problem because we could see it. So I spoke to a couple of my close friends who are also very experienced in the hobby, people like Najib, Roshan, and they looked at it and they kind of didn't really diagnose per se, but then they were aware of what it was, and they suggested that we go ahead with certain kind of treatment. But before we get into the treatment and how we went about doing the whole thing, let me talk to you about what exactly had happened. So from my understanding, it was more to do with fin rot. Now what exactly is fin rot? So fin rot is caused by aeromones, pseudomonas and vibrobacteria. And what really happens is that it eats away at the fins and the tail of your fish, and slowly it becomes ragged. So initially it is very difficult to figure out that something like this has happened, because obviously, especially in my case, my fish was quite okay. It was active and it was moving around, it was even taking its feed as usual. So generally in most conditions it is difficult to figure out, till the point where it becomes more ragged and the tail or the fin suddenly start tearing away or fraying away as the bacteria eats into the tissues. You could obviously also see some red inflammatory bloody patches in the tail or in the fin. That's when you really know that your fish is suffering from fin rot. And that is where I also thought that it would be fin rot, and actually it was right, it was fin rot. What we need to know about fin rot is that it's very easy to prevent, but once it sets in, at least I found out that it's quite difficult to get rid of. It took quite a bit of time to get rid of it, but did I really get rid of it completely? I'll tell you towards the end of the video. So what really are the symptoms? Like I mentioned that initially you will see that there are some patchy edges, it's a little ragged, but it would normally go unnoticed till it becomes more pronounced, as the tail or the fin, whatever is affected, starts tearing away, fraying away and falling off. That's when you really get to know that something is wrong. And of course you need to take certain measures to go ahead and cure your fish at that point of time, because it could really get dangerous and it could at times even prove fatal. One of the other challenges that you may face is during fin rot, you could also have a possibility of a secondary infection which is called columnaris, which is more of a cotton wool disease. And of course we can talk about it at a later video. Let me know if you would want me to make a video on totally on columnaris, but it could form as a secondary infection as well when your fish is suffering from fin rot. Now let's look at the causes. Now my problem is, while I feel it was fin rot, but at the same time when I look at some of the causes of fin rot, they don't really match up to the current state in my tank. So they say poor water conditions. Of course, water conditions is always one of the causes. Poor water conditions, I don't know how is it possible, because I have a sump with the right kind of media, I'm assuming, in it, or maybe I had the wrong media, I don't know. The other thing is, if you overfeed your fish, if your aquarium is overstocked, there's fighting going on in your tank, there is low water temperature. So, and I don't think any of these were there in my tank. Like I said, I have a sump, so that should take care of the filtration of the water. I don't overfeed. In fact, I underfeed in a way. My fish doesn't have tank mates. The temperature tends to be on the higher side rather than on the lower side, considering that I have lights on most of the time, or all of the time actually. And also I'm in Mumbai, so obviously the temperature in the atmosphere itself is quite high. So I don't know if these causes really fit into the description of what happened to my fish, but then I couldn't really find any other explanation of why the tail would tear this way. There are ways to treat it. However, antibiotics can take care of the illness. However, you'll have to obviously figure out the underlying reason. Now I think, to be very honest, most of us here, I can't really comment about abroad. For example, in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, I don't know about them, but at least in India, most of us don't really diagnose the underlying cause. What we try to do is we treat the symptoms, and that is what I did as well, because I don't know how to diagnose the underlying cause. Maybe you'd probably have to be a veterinarian to be able to diagnose the underlying cause. But anyways, we went with certain antibiotic treatments, and we went with Furan 2. It had to be given in 4 doses, and the exact dosage is given in the sachet, in the box that is there. So I reduced water down to a really low level, and I would put the dosage every single day and do 20% water change. That's what was suggested to me by my friends, and to be very honest, it absolutely took care of the condition, and my fish was absolutely fine. However, we wanted to continue with the medication, so a friend of mine suggested that I continue, or rather I start with something called Bactonil, which kind of takes care of any other secondary infection, any other bacterial infection in the water. While another friend of mine did suggest Melafix, but then I just went with Bactonil because I had it and it was just easy to work with that. So I put that for 7 more days. So a total of around 11 to 12 days of treatment, and my fish was absolutely fine. And if you can see, the tail was completely cured, and she's doing totally fine after that, which is a good thing. You could also use something called the ocean-free external bacteria and fungus away. That's also something that I have. I didn't try it at that time, but that's something that can be used as well. Aquarium salt can be used for live-bearing fish, but not really for scaleless ones, because that may not work for them. So these are some of the things, along with water change, that may help. However, I would also like to mention one thing. I do have a lot of media in my tank, which are more biological and chemical media. Just before my fish fell sick, I had actually removed all of the media, and I had just left sponge in the tank. Maybe there was a change in the water chemistry that resulted in this. However, what I really did after that was, when my fish did fall sick, was initially I put the media back just to see that if it takes care of it, but it didn't. And so I eventually, of course, kept the media in there, but then I stopped the sump, and then I treated the fish just the way that I explained to you guys right now. And of course, you can prevent it by some of the things that I said: keeping water clean, maintaining the right temperature, ensuring that ammonia, pH, nitrate, nitrite, they are all under control. Generally ammonia, nitrate, nitrite at 40 ppm and below. Not overfeeding, not having aggressive tank mates. These are some of the things that you can do. And of course, not handle the fish roughly, or not really handle the fish if you don't have to, because stress could also cause this. So these are some of the things that you can do to prevent it. Now my point is, I do almost everything, okay, and it happened. And the worst part is, after doing so much of treatment, today I'm seeing it has it again. So I'm surprised that do we really understand how to do treatment for these fish? And it's a question that I want to ask all the experienced hobbyists. That do we really know when our arowanas or maybe any other fish, when they fall sick, do we really know what we need to do? How to treat them? Do we know, can we identify the underlying illness or sickness that the fish is suffering from, due to which these symptoms are coming up? Are we just doing symptomatic treatment? Are we not really treating the underlying condition? What are we really doing? Is a question I want to ask all my fellow hobbyists, a question that I want to ask all the senior hobbyists out there who give us all the advice to do these things. While what I did or what I was told to do helped, but it was very temporary, and at the moment it still has the torn tail. And obviously I will go back and do a treatment, and this time I'm thinking I'll try the ocean free external bacteria and fungus away, and let me see, maybe ocean free has done a good job in trying to eradicate the underlying condition that causes this, and let me go ahead and try that. So this is what had happened to my crossbelly. A lot of you had asked me what happened to your fish, and tell us more about it. But this is what had happened. A few of my friends helped me, Najib, Swami, Roshan, they all helped me a lot, and thank you to you guys for helping me out. I obviously have to go ahead and do a little bit more treatment because it seems like that was not enough, but that's that. I want to bring in more of these kind of discussions where we can talk about the various different diseases that our fish suffer from, especially arowanas, and how we can treat them. Okay, so let me know if there is a specific disease that you want me to talk about, and their treatment and prevention and all of that in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to take that up. However, what's coming up next week is something very, very interesting. Is a question I want to ask you guys, and put in the comments. Don't be shy, don't be scared. I want to repeat myself, whether you like me or you dislike me, it's not important. It doesn't matter to me, guys. What matters is let's grow the hobby together. So put in the comment section, do farms really matter? Do certificates really matter as far as arowanas are concerned? Or are we going to look at the fish? Let's talk about it next week, about all these farms in Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore and Indonesia that sell us their Asian arowanas. Are they good or are they good? That's going to be an interesting topic. So come back here next week to watch that. And guys, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. So that's all in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Till I come back in the next one. Peace.